Bam! What is up, everybody? How you doing? 7 a.m. It looks like it's going pretty good. Can you guys hear me fine? If you can, smash that thumbs up. Let me see if I got it in here. Hey, is my audio better? Last time it felt like I was screaming at you. But I think I got the problem fixed. Is it a little bit better, guys? Is that better? A little better? Bingo. Well, hey, man, what's up, everybody? I'd like to welcome everybody. Let me see if I can see who all is up in this chat. I seen my man Red show up in here from Canada. Chris Drew from Canada. Man, this room just got hot, too. Got all these lights and sweatshirt. So what's up, everybody? Man, I want to welcome you guys to the subscriber hangout. We are here doing this thing live. I'm going to answer your questions live tonight. Competition barbecue, backyard barbecue, it doesn't matter. I have some pictures that I want us to go through. Let us look at them, talk about them. We're going to talk about some rib pictures. We're going to talk about what's good about them, what could probably be fixed about them. We're going to talk about the smoker that I'm currently competing on this year. And I found a gem of a treat for you guys. I found, and you're not going to believe this, my very first smoker ever. And this is the first one I took to competitions. I cleaned it up a little bit, but I called him the Tin Man, and that's who she was. So, well, hey, let's jump right on in here, man. Let's see who's in here. What up, Cos? My man Vinny. Hey, smash that one button. Smash that one button if this audio is better. Mr. Ramirez, South Texas, my man. SEA. Thinking about doing an SEA this weekend. There's one just not too far from my house. So how's that audio, everybody? One, good. There we go. Good. Now I got Linda in the room. She's down here on the floor. I don't plan on her getting up. I got the two little ones out there. They'll probably be raising hell here in a minute. Hey, first of all, I want to welcome everybody. And if you are not subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button and click that thumbs up so we can keep doing this. Everybody got your drinks? There we go. We got a few people up in here. Dallas, Texas. I just got back from Dallas. Clint, I was down there at the NASCAR race this weekend. Laredo, Texas. All right, so hey, man, without further ado, let's jump right on in it. So for those of you that tuned in last time, I gave you my complete competition rib recipe. Everything I have. This time, I want to talk about competition ribs again, but I want to go and pull a couple pictures from the internet. They're all, they're just out there on the internet, so, these people got them pumped out there. All I'm doing is just sharing them with you guys, so. And then I'm going to show you some of my competition ribs and kind of walk you through the things that I do. And then at the end, I want to make sure we get you guys feedback, get your questions answered. If you have any questions, if you don't have any questions, it don't matter. We do what we do here. You do what you do there. I hope you guys got you a glass of iced tea. I drink out of this thing all the time. Coffee. I mean, it's all day. And before we get started, if you'll notice down on the ticker, there's a Kosmos Q coupon code. That coupon code is live only for the duration of this show. That's it. After the show, I'm turning it off. It's my gift to you guys and gals that are spending time with me this evening. So if you need anything from Kosmos, if you want to go over there and look around, there's a code down in the description. It's right down there. There it is right there in the ticker. YT20 off. YT20 off. And you got to type it just like that. Head on over to KosmosQ.com. Grab yourself some gear, some sauce, some rubs, some merch, whatever. It's for you. Use it how you see fit. But like I said, it is only for those of you that jumped on here live tonight. As soon as we're done, I'm going to march right over there and turn it off. So boom, there. That's for you guys. Alrighty. Let's just jump right on into it. So the first picture I got here, well, I'll just let you see it. So, this is a competition rib box. Let me see if I can make this a little bigger for you guys. Now, before anybody, those that jumping on this one, let me just tell you, this is how I absolutely love to eat ribs. So, I don't know whose this is. Don't know anything about them. But, yeah, this is how I love to eat ribs. Now, let me talk to you about what's going on in this box. There's a lot going on. What I would do different in this box, if I was at a competition and you pulled these ribs out and you said, "Hey Kosmo, can you help me fix this?" Yes, I would. So here's what I would do with this box. You see all this lettuce down here at the bottom, and it's just all willy-nilly. I would cut that stuff off. I would get rid of the gap between each rib, and I would try to make it look like they were seamless. I always turn my ribs in one right next to the other. I never gap my ribs. I never put space in between them, because what it starts doing is highlighting the imperfections. And I bet you these things tasted amazing. So for tonight's show, we can't judge taste or tenderness, right? So we're just going to assume that everything got a 9 or whatever barbecue body is your perfect score. We're just going to assume it got a perfect score for taste and tenderness. So the only thing that's holding them back is the appearance, if you have appearance. So what I would fix on this box is get rid of a lot of that lettuce covering up. I would put these ribs back together and just try to pretty them up. Now, if you're not a sauce person, I don't know, maybe at this competition there was no sauce. You couldn't use sauce. I don't know. I would probably shine them up, maybe with a little bit of water or a little something. I know, as a matter of fact, I got a friend of mine. He has won ribs many times without saucing them, and he just uses the au jus, and he'll throw a little bit of something in there to help shine it up. Actually, you could probably do it with our rib glaze, or you could do it with honey, brown sugar. You could probably make a quick little something on the go. So that's what I would do. What would you guys do with this box? Type them down below in the comments. Our next picture. Now, you can't see here. Well, maybe you can. On this this first rib on the left, I wish I had a pointer for you guys, but I don't. So there's little pepper seeds down there. They got seeds all over it. But once again, if you can't tell, it looks like to me, and I could be wrong, this middle front rib needs to go one to the right, and the one on the, or I'm sorry, one to the left, and the left one needs to come to the middle because it looks like they got them out of order. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like they were doctoring them up and on the cutting board and got them out of order. The other thing it looks like, if you'll notice the cuts in them, the cuts aren't straight. And probably what happened is they cut from the top, which for me, I always cut from the backside so I can see exactly where the bone is, and there's an absolute straight knife cut. Now sometimes when if you push too hard, you can get it to tweak a little bit, but that's okay. So obviously brush marks in it. You can see the brush marks. There's gaps in between them that highlights any imperfection in the cut. So I would obviously get the gap out of it, straighten them up, and fix some of this parsley on the side. Yeah, a little asymmetrical. Yep, you're right. So let's jump into this next picture. This is this guy's he's doing a lot better. And just for the record, I don't want to jump on the parsley bandwagon, and I'm not here because I always take a picture of my box before I turn it in. And the reason why is your eyes won't catch what the camera will. You've been staring at it. You can look along the left side, see how the parsley is, it's very rough and rugged. It goes up, it goes down. Your eyes, they have a hard time catching that. That's why I would take a skewer down the side and push everything down to the bottom, or I would start filling in the side. Actually, I'd probably start filling in the side and then run a skewer down the side, just kind of pressing it all down to kind of level it out. But you should always be taking a picture of your box before you start the repair, what I call all the under the light stuff. You know what I mean? Tell me. Hey, and feel free, guys, jump in here, man. You guys feel free to throw the score out that you would give this. If you're KCBS, if you'd give this a 9, let me know. If you give it a 8, 7, 6, whatever, let me know. I actually saw a comment on this box, and somebody said that they would give it a 6. I don't know that I'd give it a 6. I mean, it doesn't look that bad. I mean, it just needs... About the only thing I would probably do to it is turn these 4 front ribs around the other way and, fix the parsley. And I think you got a good-looking box. These ribs look good. What would you guys give it? Code isn't working. Hold on. Let me get over there. Make sure you're typing that code in exactly like it shows. If not, it won't work. Try it now. I see some 8s, some 7s. Yeah, I could see 7 like this. My buddy Travis, actually, he does a great trick. And sometimes you'll see him flip ribs down like this if they're too cattywampus to what side. And I'm fixing to show you that on this next box. So this is actually one of my boxes, and you'll have to forgive the lighting. My trailer at the time was very dark, pretty much black. You can see the black countertop in there, so the lighting on it is little fun. So, but you can see once again the parsley down the side is, maybe, at best 3/16 of an inch off. But when you convert that to a picture, I mean, look at that. That's what these guys are going to see. I try to keep that parsley down low. I want to showcase the meat. But even on this box, if you can see the back ribs, you see how there's kind of a little gap in there on that far left one. I would straighten all that stuff back up. And that's what I do is I take a picture and then I look at my phone or my iPad, whatever the picture is on, for what do I need to fix. Is that making sense to you guys? Is that making any sense? So when I take a picture, I want to see on my phone what it is, and then I'll hold my phone actually to the side right here, and then go to fixing or put it. Actually, on this trailer, I had a magnet that would hold my iPad, and I could just set it right there, and then look up at my iPad, and then go down to fixing the picture, or go down to fixing the box based off the picture. Now I'm gonna tell you guys right now, that is worth its weight in gold in points alone. So let's just assume that you have the best taste in ribs and you nailed the tenderness. Right now, what you're fixing is just the little stuff. You eat with your eyes first, right? I think everybody would agree with that. What would you guys rate that box? Let me give you another look at it here. What would you rate this box? And I don't care. This is my box. If you say, hey, man, dude, that's a 5. Are you stupid? Let's go. I see my man Billy in here. Billy, what would you rate it? T-Roy? My man T-Roy. Sorry I missed you the other day, T-Roy. My phone wasn't working down there. Go figure. Sprint. That code working now, guys? I guess so. We ain't heard nothing. Sorry about that. All right. So, guys, let me know if this helps. Let me know if you guys like this. I'm trying to come up with content for you guys, and I really wish I could, do this live at a barbecue competition. But, I mean, let's just be honest. It's probably not going to happen, Not unless I'm just close to a place that has killer internet that's going to let me jump on, Probably not going to happen with my phone. I have some other pictures here that I wanted to show you guys. And maybe I'm going to do this first. I'm going to move this one. I'm going to show you the finished product, and then I'm going to work it back just a little bit. Because I had is the code still not working? Mike? Let me see. I show it's working now. What the code is YT20 off. And that's going to get you a percentage off. I show it's working, guys. I will say this. I mean, if you're outside of the U.S., it's probably not going to work. Jump back on there and try it. I show it's up and working. It's getting used right now. Just make sure you type it in there exactly, exactly like it says. Capital Y, capital T, 20, capital OFF. Thanks, Clint. Yeah, I really would like to do this live at a barbecue competition, but man, first of all, you probably wouldn't want to be around me live at a barbecue competition. When we get in that window, right? In that window from right about 11:30 to 1:30, I'm probably not the most pleasant person to be around, but that's okay. My buddy Munchin, Rob McGee, up in Kansas City, a long time ago, we was in my trailer and I wrote on a paper towel, "Stay focused and make no mistakes," and I stuck it to the wall with honey, and it actually stayed there for about 2 years. And that's what Rob would always say: "Stay focused and make no mistakes." And I think he's living proof of that. I mean, Jesus, just look what he's done. Alrighty, let's jump into this one. Hey guys, if that code should be working. It's live right now, so you should be rocking and rolling that thing. Let me check it one more time, then we'll get into these next pictures. Okay. Yeah, I show it's working, guys. Y, capital T, 20, capital OFF. So you should be up and running. All right, let's jump back in this. And at the end, we'll talk about the code again. And are you saying it's the shipping? Yeah, I can fix that. All right, try it now. I turned all the shipping methods off. Just know I ain't gonna overnight nothing. All right, guys. Enough talk about that code. We'll jump on that here at the end. You should be working on that. That we'll jump on it. We'll get you guys taken care of. You know me. Those of you that know me know me. And if I say something, I mean it, and we'll make it happen. So, anyways, here we go. This is my brisket box from my last competition. What would you rate this box? And I know I can already tell you, I wish I could have it typed up. I know what somebody's going to say. And there's a reason why there is pooling right there on top of them slices. That is going to be good. You're going to love it. You're going to learn something here. Right? That's what we want to do, is learn. Help each other out. What would you guys rate this box? Once again, it's in that dark trailer. Golly. It just doesn't give it the justice. And just keep in mind, I got a 6 on this. From one judge, I got a 6. Yeah, it was definitely moist, for sure. So, the pooling on here is, what it is my au jus. So what I do is I take, when I'm done with the box, brisket will oxidize. Brisket or beef in general is very high in iron. Very high. So what you actually see when it discolors, it's iron that is rusting. It's oxidizing, for lack of a better term. And if you want to learn how to stop this immediately, you can brush it with a little of its own au jus, and it stops it. I don't know if it changes I'm sure it just changes the pH level. It probably balances the pH level on the front of that, and that's what stops it. But the reason why you see that pooling there is what I do is I take my brush and I dip it in my au jus, and then I just let it kind of drip over the tops of them. And what happens is by the time I grab the box and walk it up there, it starts, just absorbing down through the brisket. So that's why I do that. Russian judge. But the question I get on this box is, how do you get the slices to look the same? They look exactly the same all the way back, and I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not easy. It's hard. Slow guys that cook low and slow, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult for you. Nothing wrong with low and slow. Knock it out. But the one thing that I do is my brisket goes on my top shelf, and it's probably 450 degrees up there, and it pops that thing up like a little balloon. Once I get that shape set, then I move it down and continue cooking. A good question on the burn ends right here. There's no burn ends in there, right? If burn ends don't turn out, I never put them in there. Right? And the reason why, you put 2 cuts of meat in a box. You got a first and you got a second. Don't care what anybody says, right? You put 2 cars next to each other, be the same car. There's a first and a second. One just looks better, tastes, one, in this instance, one is going to taste better than the other. And if you've ever had a burn end that was on point, geez, it'll save you. But if your burnt ends, if they're not there, don't turn them in. Don't expect them to save you, because they're not. If anything, they'll drag you straight to the bottom. And that's why a lot of people put their burn ends in the front. That's why I do. Is because I'm working from the back, and if they don't turn out, then I'm still cooking mine when the box is going, when I'm building the box, and then I go grab them hot, and then they'll go in the front. That's the way I do it. What's up, Randy? How are you, my friend? So the symmetrics. Let me go back. Let me get back here. So the symmetrics on that box are done. There's another side. And if you'll see, once again, this is why I take pictures of a box. If you'll look along that right side, there's even around that second slice, there's a piece of parsley that's turned upside down, just got moved over. And that's the thing that you can see on your phone or your iPad that you can fix. And if you'll look on that third slice on the far right, it's starting to break just a hair. So what I will do in that situation is I will tuck a little piece of parsley in there, and you'll never see it, man. I'll hide that thing. And then that parsley in the front, that flat parsley, right there on the front right side, I'll shove all that to the bottom, and I'll retuck a new piece in there. And let me switch over here so I can show you. So I have these skewers that are probably about that long, right? And obviously one side's sharp, the other side's blunt. So on that parsley, I would shove all that parsley down to the bottom of the box, and then I have some tweezers. I'll reset new pieces in there. You'll never know. So, but if you look at it, the symmetrics of it are all the same, and here's why. This is that brisket before I started cooking it. I just wanted to give that thing a moment of silence. She is beautiful. Beautiful. But that's how I trim my briskets. And anybody that's bought my DVDs will tell you. That's exactly how I trim my briskets. That's why that brisket looks the way it does. Now, I will set that brisket out, and it will come up to room temperature. And what you'll notice is people ask me why I put, you know, do you put brisket on cold? Do you put it on hot? There's a theory. I don't know it to be true. It probably is true, but I don't know. I don't overthink this stuff. If you put a cold brisket on, you're going to get a better smoke ring. So if you put your rub on it, put it in the fridge, let it set overnight, you're going to get a deeper smoke ring. A lot of people think it's because it's cold. I think it's because of the salt, but I don't know. Could be what it is. But what I do is I'll rub this thing, and then it sets out like this. Now what's going to happen is it's going to relax, right? And then you're going to start noticing the imperfections in that meat, right? You may have cut that thing at home and vacuum sealed it. Now all of a sudden one of your sides ain't so straight. This is where I fix that. So after it's relaxed and I notice if it's out of whack, I will come back in and I'll retrim it. There's times at a competition I've retrimmed chicken 3 times. It's just what you do. If you want to win, it's what you do. But this picture right here was taken right before it went on the cooker. So, what would you get? I wish we could rate meat before it went into a box. Hey guys, is that code working for you now? Should be working. Yeah, run over there and give it a try. Should be working for you now. So, but that is my brisket before it goes onto the cooker. Now, a lot of people ask me what I'm cooking on. I have probably way too much stuff, to be honest with you. I got cookers out the wazoo. But I just bought a motorhome, and man, I went down to Texas and took it down there and stayed on the infield with it. Jeez, man, I love that thing. I should have done that a long time ago. But this is my baby. This pit is actually, well, I'll show it to you, and then we'll talk about it. This is my baby. My buddy JP made this for me, and it looks just like that. This picture was actually taken last year, if that. It probably hasn't been 12 months, but this is my baby. I love this thing, and anybody that knows me knows that this thing you're not even allowed to get within 10 feet of it. Especially if you got a hand truck or anything like that. Because I baby it. This pit is probably 8 years old, 9 years old. And it still looks like that. And it is a beast. Here's the other side. If you'll notice, all the fittings around the doors, everything's been water jetted out, hand riveted, all stainless steel. I mean, she is that's my princess. It's got a 2-inch thick firebox on it. That is probably about a 1902 boiler door. There's a way you can tell on there, but that's my baby. Okay, looks like it's working for you guys now. Sweet. That's awesome, man. I'm glad it's working for you guys. So You guys jump on there, get your 20 off right now while you can. And just because of your troubles, as soon as we get off this, I'll go get myself a glass of tea, give you guys time to go in there, look around for a minute. But like I said, it's only for you guys that watch this live. So, hold on, Troy. Let me get back over here to it. That's my baby. And the funny thing is this has never even been in my YouTube channel till today. I think this is the first time anyone's ever saw it. Is it covered when you tow it? That's awesome. Jonas, it's 20% off. You spend $1,000, save $200. Lone Star, I hate to say this, but that's not a Jambo. That one's about, I think about 7, 8, 9 years old. Don't get me wrong, Jambos are damn nice. Jamie Gear, man, that guy. His mind, man, the way he thinks is just awesome. He does an amazing job. That's the back end of my girl T-Ray. Don't ever say I didn't let you see the back end of my girl. I sold that cook trailer. Yeah, I sold it probably 6 months ago. You have to excuse me. I'm letting Linda out. She's finally... Get out! She's been laying there for 5 hours. She finally got up. I probably should have got her on camera moving. But, hey guys, I want to say this. As nice as that pit is, this next picture I have is gonna shock you. It's gonna shock you. This is, and I want you guys to hear me. The rig does not make the cook. I don't care how much you spend on it. I don't care how pretty it is. If you can't cook it right, it doesn't matter what you have. You could have a $20,000 Jambo that Jamie Gear made for you personally, and if you can't cook on it, it doesn't matter. This is the very first pit that I ever owned. And if you'll notice, this is actually a picture of a picture that I had. I called him the Tin Man. That's the Tin Man right here. And that is the very first smoker I ever owned. Very first one. That one, if you'll notice on the firebox, it had an air vent on both sides. And that thing would get 1,000,000 degrees. But I will say this. Man, the turkey off there was unbelievable. I couldn't smoke brisket quite yet at the time. So, you know, it was a slow learning process. And it probably has you asking, you know, so how'd that happen? So, see, what had happened was, I had to throw that in there for you guys. So what had happened was, is you got to start somewhere, right? I don't care. You got to start somewhere. You got to get in there and get your feet wet, pay your dues, spend your hours up working all night, chasing, fires down, all that stuff. So you got to pay your dues. And that's what I did. I've been doing this for quite a while now, and I've just slowly added, a little here, a little there. And that's why I take care of my JP pit the way I do. And you can even ask JP. He gets pissed off because it just stays in my shop. But that's my pride and joy. And man, I take care of her. So, hey, you guys want to jump in some questions? You guys got some questions for me? If anybody has any questions for me, smash that 3. Just give me a 3. Just 1 3, 3 3s, 6 3s. If you got some competition questions, backyard questions, I'm going to do my best to answer them. If I know, great, I'll help you out. If I don't know, we got enough people in here, somebody's going to know. Jamie said, hey, Cosmo, do you separate the flat and the point prior to cooking? Yes, I do. Let me get that photo up for you, Jamie. This is my flat, and this is my point prior to cooking. So, yes, I do. I haven't always, right? But I do now. Let's see if I can grab some of these comments. I'm going to see if I can go back. Pitbull said, I thought an expensive set of golf clubs would make me better. No, they don't. Pitt's the same way. Pitt's the same way. Everybody asks me why I got a Weber on my back porch. Well, I'd cook on a Weber. Oh, haha. Do you add moisture magic to all your injections? That's a great question. That's a great question. And yes, I do. I personally do. Now, you need to understand there's a way you add moisture magic to an injection. I personally do. I want to say this. The FDA has a recommended usage that's on the package. And moisture magic is already in the other injections. And I have it elevated about as high as I can go legally. So if whatever you do is on you, I personally do it for myself. That's just the way I like it. I think I'm still running less than those people at Walmart that are, all the little lunch meats that they pack in there that when you open them up, it looks like a rainbow. That's how you can tell there's too much moisture magic in their meat. That's exactly how you can tell. Ham shouldn't look like a tuna. But yeah, I do. And here's how I do that. So I mix, well, hold on. So I put my injection, the powder, in my mixer, right? And then I add 1 to 2 tablespoons of moisture magic, and then I stir that up or shake that up, and then the liquid goes on top of it. Because if you don't, what moisture magic does is it grabs a hold of liquid. And when it grabs a hold, and I'm sure some of you guys have already seen this, because I get the emails, hey, my stuff it turned into a rock. Yeah, it sure did. So that's how you stop that. Mix the moisture magic in with the injection already. And all you're really trying to do is separate the moisture magic from itself. Because if there's nothing but water in between 2 moisture magic molecules, they grab each other. And that's what you don't want them to do. Oh, let's see. Best entry-level pit for someone looking to start Competition BBQ. The egg, the Rectech. I've never cooked on a Rectech. Eggs, I do like cooking on eggs, and I do have an egg. I think the problem with an egg is hauling them around. My very first competition setup, Let me see if I can even find a picture. Man, if I could find a picture of that. Well, the very first one was that pit you saw. That's what I drug around. But over time, I switched over to WSMs, and I actually had a ranch kettle. Let me see if I can find that picture. Man, if I can find this, geez. Some old pictures here. No, I don't see it. Anyways, but yeah, WSMs, drums are great entry level cookers. Drums are. I've cooked on drums for a couple years, and man, you can't beat that. You can sleep all night with them rigs. How do I convince my wife? How do I convince my wife to buy something? You don't, Adam. You don't ever try to convince them. You go and buy it, and you ask for forgiveness. That one's free. You're missing a lot of good questions here. Always wondered what that rainbow was, yeah. I'm scrolling back. I'm trying to find some of your questions. Texas beef and cow cover and dirty bird hot, Rodney. But now we got cow cover hot. Man, and I'm honestly thinking about just rolling a cow cover hot with Texas beef. Is there any downside to putting it in the fridge overnight with rub? No. Um, the problem with that, there is a downside actually. A lot of people are going to hammer it with rub, and then what's going to happen is that if it's got a lot of salt on there, it's going to start brining that meat. And you're going to wake up in the morning, there's going to be a pool of liquid in the bottom of your pan or whatever, and that you're sucking a lot of that moisture out of the brisket. What was the... I have used lettuce in my DVDs. Yep. When was that box built? And it depends. If I go to a competition, and you can even ask some of my boys in Texas, if I go down to a competition and I see people using lettuce, I'll switch over to parsley. If I see a bunch of people using parsley, I'll switch over to lettuce. If I see a bunch of both, and I've done it before, I've dumped it all out of my box and went with completely naked. Golly, I wish I had some of these pictures saved. I did almost 100-team cook in Texas and reserve grand it with nothing in the boxes. No lettuce or parsley. Randy, on the hat, we have a bunch of plans coming for merch, new merch. I think you're going to like it. How long do you give a brisket to cook? Here's where I think people screw up brisket all the time. And if you follow these simple steps, brisket should be the easiest thing you cook. Period. Cook the color. So let's just assume you're running at 275 degrees. You cook it to the color you want, right? When it gets the color you want, you wrap it. Simple as that. I put brisket mop in there with a little 2 cans of beef consomme. That's what I do. After you wrap it, you cook it to 210 degrees. You do that, perfect. Now, that is for if you are more of a beginner. If you're more of a novice cook, right? And you have let's just say you have a thermopan. And that when you probe that thing at 208 degrees and it feels like a hot stick of butter, and you know you need to pull it, right? Then I say go to 210, and you need to be checking about 202 and deciding when you need to pull it. So what I'm saying is as you learn to cook more, you'll replace that final temp with a final feel. You'll feel the meat and just know. Aaron Franklin's really good at feeling a brisket, and he knows. He's cooked, 30,000 pounds a month, though. So if you do that to a brisket, if you're a beginner cook it to color, wrap it, cook it to 210 degrees, perfect every time. If you are more of a novice, cook, then cook it to final fill. Let's see if I can jump down here and grab some more questions from the bottom. How much time do you have for brisket and comp? I put my brisket on at 6 a.m. in the morning, Matt. Hot and fast. Now, I will say this, hot and fast, your brisket finish temp is going to be higher. Because the low and slow, it has more time to break down the fibers in there. Hot and fast, you're going to need to run a little bit higher temp. Can I use the code when paying by Amazon? Yes. It goes in the coupon code section. Anything else? Anything new cooking soon? Yes, there is. We have a couple more products, Robert, that should be out in the next 2 months. Cosmo, injecting ribs with a CA. Rib glaze works very well. Well, I diluted the apple juice. Next time I'm going to warm it up. Okay. Yep, I remember this question. Well, I might have to give that a try. Jonas said problem. Brisket ain't cheap learning. And it shouldn't be. And honestly, guys, you should take this very seriously, but I'm telling you, you can't be scared of it, man. You can't be scared of it. I have destroyed more meat than you could probably begin to imagine. Well, thanks, Mark. How do you use your new rib glazes in comp? DQ'd barbecue. That's a great question. I take it you wasn't here last week. You should go back and watch that, but I'm going to tell you again anyway. I add my rib glazes to my sauce. I add it to the wrap. And just the other day, I shot a video that will be coming out Saturday, is how to use rib glazes straight out of the bottle. What's a normal rest time for brisket and competition? I always try to give myself at least an hour. At least an hour. Pitbull says, what temp do you like to cook hot and fast at? 300 to 350. Code again, please. The code is down in the ticker for all of you that's joining. It's right after this KosmosQ.com. It is, I think it's YT20 off. And you got to type it in just like that. So, make sure it's right there. So make sure you type it in just like that, because after this is over, we're going to turn it off. Dustin goes, do you cook pork butt hot and fast? I cook everything hot and fast. Yep, Alfred, all of our caps are online. Yes, I wrap the point and the flat separate. And Jamie, that's a great question. That is a great question. Jamie's asking, do I finish the point and the flat at different temperatures? And yes, I will say this. If you're cooking on a drum, you're going to notice that your flat is probably going to finish at 212 to 215. So, because it's so much faster on a comp brisket. The point, I cook to 210 degrees. I cube it up, and then I set it in a pan, and I run beef consomme up to maybe about that far from the top. Just right about an eighth of an inch from the top, because I don't want to destroy the bark I built. And then I wrap it, and I throw it back in the cooker, and it continues to cook. It's probably jumping up to 212, 213. Right before it falls apart is where I'm wanting to grab it. Just where you can grab it and squeeze it, and if I was to just mash on, my fingers would go all the way through and break it in half. It's KM. That's a great question. The consomme and brisket mop is excellent for the backyard. Excellent. If you want to level up your backyard brisket, get that. I don't care if you buy anything else. Get that. That will level up your brisket. Hashtag it just wins. You're right, my friend Herder. I am a redneck because I know exactly what that means. Are you going to be doing any giveaways? Yes, I am, Jonas. And I will always tell you, make sure you subscribe for my email newsletter. Make sure you follow me on all social media, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and click that bell so you get notified of them. Yeah, Robert, we may have sold out of hats. There was a push on them. I do have this hat coming though. It should be up in 2 to 3 weeks, somewhere in there. Eric, I do inject ribs at a competition. And if you'll go watch my last live event, I give that entire recipe to you. Use it, don't use it, do what you want to with it. Completely up to you. Try it at home. Backyard guys, try it at home. How long do you wait after injecting before you smoke it? Brian asked. Hey, Brian, are you doing this for competition or for backyard? Because there's actually 2 answers. Yeah, Terry, 6 to 8 hours. Yep. When I inject a brisket at a comp, I inject the night before. And you can do it at home too. You can actually inject. You could probably go longer than 12 hours, but I always tell everybody 12 hours. So if you're putting your brisket on in the morning, at 6 a.m., you can inject at 6 p.m. You could probably, in all honesty, inject at, 2 or 3 p.m. Actually, I do have some friends that do that. I personally don't do it. David, why did the code not work for you, brother? It's working. Unless you live outside of the country. If you live outside of the country, it's probably not going to work. Yeah, it's working on there, guys. I have a backyard comp coming up, and they are supplying the meat after turning to the rest of the people. What would you use chicken wing for? Sorry about that. What would you use for chicken wings? So, Derek, you have a competition that is giving the meat away after a cook-off. What would you give them? I always give them, butts. Because, honestly, I have so much pulled pork around there, it's not even funny. What flavor profile do you aim for on brisket? Sweet, salty, heat, all of them. I'll put the sweet as a sauce on the very top, on the top of that slice. Obviously, the salty is in the jus, and that's where I'll add some of the heat too. Eddie, I hope that answers your question. I hate putting sauce on a brisket, especially, but golly, man, if you don't do it in competition, you're gonna get drove around here. In Texas, if you're in Texas, though, you can get away with not saucing it. Which that's how I think it should be, but it's not up to me. Dave, in the middle of a cornfield. Yeah, Dave, it's working, brother. I just went over there to check it. It's being used, so make sure you're typing it in the coupon code section. So it's working. Are there any judges in here? Oh, there's one. Mark's a CBJ. Yeah, John, there's a big difference when you inject, in my opinion. Eric, after I inject chicken with the chicken injection, I use it all. I blow them up. Thanks, TB. I appreciate that. That cow cover is a great one. You ought to try the cow cover hot if you like a little bit of kick on there. How far do I travel for comp? I've been to Nashville. I've been to Arizona, and that's about as far east or west. I've been to Iowa, and obviously Texas. Do you cook backyard ribs for yourself at the same as you do comp ribs? Nope, not even close. Not even close. The ones I eat, Matt. The ones in my videos are different. I just want to show you guys different ways to present. I'll show you right here, Matt. Here's how I like to eat ribs. No joke. This is how I love ribs, man. That nice little char on there. I love them like that, man. I love them. Love them, love them, love them. Thanks, Martin. I appreciate it. Come to Florida. Jonas, golly, it's so far out there. I have to fly out there and then borrow a bunch of crap. Because I don't know if I can. It's 2 days for me. Tips for IBCA half chicken. Yes, Eddie. Make sure and go on my channel. Go to the video section, right? And scroll down till you see my IBCA chicken. Make sure you do that. That recipe right there has been killing it in IBCA. Yep, hot sauce at home. I love just dry rub ribs. Don't get me wrong, I love sauce too. On a pulled pork sandwich, I'll dip it in sauce. I love it. Sauce is a condiment in my house. I have them all open. But on ribs, I just love ribs like that. I call them trash can ribs. Come to Oregon, Tim says. Be careful. Careful what you ask for. Late to the party, Velociraptor. Where you been, bro? Come on now. Have you ever marinated ribs before smoking? Um, yes, I have. I did some Korean short ribs, and I marinated them all night long. And geez, man, phew, we made tacos with them. They were stupid good. Any tips for smoking a whole turkey? Yes, 15.89. Let me tell you how I do. First of all, I get a bucket and I mix my turkey brine up and I soak that thing for at least 24 hours. At least. If you can do 48 hours, bingo. When I get that thing out of there, now here's the crazy part. And I had an old lady teach me this. When you get that thing out of there, get that turkey out of there, put it on a tray, pat it down, and then take you a nice clean bar towel and lay over that turkey and stick it back in the fridge for 24 hours. I know. It's crazy. Probably going to get salmonella and all that crap like that, but you don't. But what it does is it starts pulling the moisture out of the skin. And you watch. You'll be able to see through that skin when you take it out of there. So when you take it out of there, then I take a whole bunch of butter, I rub that rig up, and I hammer it. I like Dirty Bird hot. Whatever you like, you do. You don't have to use my stuff. Use your stuff. But that's how I like them. A lot of guys will even cut up onions and stuff like that and stuff on the inside. So you do that part how you do. I just like to cook it just like that. Spatchcock that thing. Yeah. I love spatchcock chicken. What's your go-to sauce combo? Oh, man. Man, it depends. What a lot of people don't know is the sweet smoke is a great vehicle for any one of the fruit sauces. So if you want to add honey jalapeno, but you want it to be a little more smoky, add it to sweet smoke. If you want to add peach habanero, add it to sweet smoke. Sweet honey chipotle, you can add it to sweet smoke. Cherry habanero, and you can push the flavor or the fruit sauces in any direction you want to go to. The same for the competition sauce too. You can add them to that. But I tell you, the crazy thing is peach habanero, sweet apple chipotle, and comp sauce mixed up is crazy good. Crazy good. And that's the great thing about these. You get to make them your own. So even if somebody comes up in your business and shigs all your stuff, man, they don't know the levels that you're using them at. When you put your steak in a salt bath, do you use the same seasoning as you would if you didn't salt it? Todd, I think you're asking if I'm cooking a competition steak, do I cook cow cover, Dirty Bird hot, and Texas beef? Yes. If you're asking if I use cow cover, Texas beef, cow cover, Dirty Bird hot, and Texas beef as my salt bath, no, I don't. And I have a video on that shows exactly how I do my competition steak. Tom, no live schools in Tuttle. Although, man, I have thought about Tuttle has a great park down here. I've thought about just seeing, if guys, want to meet down there on a Saturday morning, and just bring your rig, or if you don't have a rig, just come down there and everybody just kind of hang out and just BS and talk barbecue, maybe smoke some ribs or something, and everybody just kind of hang out, take pictures and stuff, kind of without that whole competition thing, right? But if you guys want to show up, I'm thinking about doing that. No comp at home with being too salty. I'll tell you, Todd, if you're doing it at home, you need to start with that salt brine about 10 minutes and pull it off and rinse it. Because if you let that thing get away from you, man, that can go south in a hurry. And then you're eating stir fried ribeye. Alex, I don't have a sous vide machine. I kind of wish I did sometimes. I hear a lot of things about these steaks that people are cooking on them, but I would probably use it once or twice for the steak, and that's about it. No, Todd. When it comes out of that salt brine, you rinse all that off, and make sure you rinse it off good, or it will be too salty. Now, if it is too salty, it means you didn't rinse it well. If you just rinse it off good, you'll be fine. Just do one for your wife, and then you do yours in the salt brine. Then you eat yours, and then let her have a bite of it, and then she'll know next time. If it is too salty, it's because you didn't rinse it off well, and I mean rinse it off well. Because that salt will get down in, it'll start creating crevices in there, and you got to rinse that stuff out. My cup worked too well. It froze a little block of ice in there. Well, hey, man. Is your competition steak the same as your backyard steak? No, it's not. It is not. Well, hey, man. Hold on. Was that one more question? Some vendors say hold them for 10 hours at 140 degrees. Man, Chris, I'm gonna be honest with you. There's some guys that cook them briskets, and that you're gonna really freak out when you hear this. There's some of them places that cook briskets to 170, 160, 165, and then pull them out, wrap them in cellophane, and throw them in a warmer, and they have the warmer set to whatever their finish temp is, and then they let the warmer bring them back up to temp. Or not back up to temp. They'll let the warmer take them to the final temp. Chicken thighs on the agenda soon. Yes, they are. What's the longest you let a brisket rest? Probably 2 hours. If it, honestly, you need to let a brisket rest. If it drops below, I think the regulation is 140, 145, somewhere in there. If it drops below that, you need to either A, get it above it, or B, get it down to, 35 degrees. Jason, I have a ton of recipes. Probably more than you care to sit here and listen to be honest. I wonder if I should do like a book or something. Not a book, but a little PDF that you guys could, maybe shoot me your email and I can email you back or something like that. Alrighty, guys. Well, hey, man. I think we have beat this dog long enough. I want to thank you guys for showing up. I don't even know how many of you are on here, but I'm sure I'll find out here in the end. Once again, I'm going to go get myself an iced tea. take this time to grab that code and go to Kosmos and use it right now. Because when I get done. So, hey, thank you for joining. If you're not subscribed, come on, man. Come on. Hit the subscribe button and make sure you click the bell. So when we do stuff like this, you get notified. And hell, it's just worth it for the code alone, even if you don't even like looking at my ugly mug. So, I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.